Okay, testing, one, two. All right. Hey guys, Dante here, and welcome back to my channel, The Burger Thought, and welcome back to another Sunday night stream. Though it is a bit late, it's already like what, 8:45. Usually we do these at 8 o'clock, but I had a bit of an issue setting up my layout for today because I trying out a new camera which has to be plugged in as opposed to using a phone app that I didn't trust on my phone no more. But all the cords, like different USB extenders, just didn't work with different machinery. I don't know why, but we are here. Happy October. We are about a week and a half from Halloween, and today we're doing something creepy but different. So what are we doing? First, we move some dangerous sharp tools out the way. We are making a monster arm, or to be more precise, this nasty looking like claw template I've printed out here. We are making this out of several materials. This includes some cheap leftover EVA foam from various projects, and then eventually I'll do a latex over that. This arm belongs to Grandma. Anyone who follows me over on Instagram, or even maybe seen a few pictures of it on Twitter, will see that I've been working on a puppet called Grandma. It's a reptilian old lady. She has a wig, she has little spectacles, and one long tendril arm with this like froggy suction cup fingered end of it. So this is for a short film. So Grandma, the puppet, is going to be shot on a larger scale. Or rather, the small puppet is going to be shot as if she's larger, but we need one actual large prop of her hand reaching in, meeting our main character. So I'm just going to basically, it's going to be a weird stream. It is just me putting shapes together, just getting the general size and thickness of it. I'm not going to pull out my Dremel to do the fine detailing. That'll be later. Right now, we're layering it. Just hot glue, really messy hot glue stuff for the understructure. We're also gonna have to plan out how this attaches to like a rod. So I'm thinking I'll probably feed a rod in here, and then leave this in there. Like feed the rod, maybe feed this through the rod to give it a bit of a structure. But we're using EVA foam, so enough layers of that, like 2 or 3 layers glued together, will prevent it from wiggling like crazy. So I'm not gonna do a full metal frame. Or maybe I will. I don't know yet. But let's talk about some housekeeping stuff. This just came off my 3D printer. It is brown. It's still got some support struts on it. This is the first of my brown dice books. That's right, people. We are in full production. I have about like 5 blue printed out, several reds, blue, black, red, and then several browns we're going to do. For those of you who don't know, this is my... I call it the Tower Tome. It's essentially a dice book. So you open it, you twist this on the inside. You have now a slot to hold a full set of dice and a built-in dice tower that bounces around. And the slot is just over an inch, so you can put a little figurine in there too if you wanted to. And yeah, I 3D printed these, and I've been assembling them by hand. They basically, it's a little friction peg. Just pops right in there, and that's that. And it has my logo on the back. I'm so happy. I'm so happy with this product. These will be up on my Etsy page. I'm thinking roughly $30 maybe, because it takes a lot of time and manpower to like assemble them piece by piece by piece. But yeah, these are in production, so I am psyched about that. And now with that being said, let's get into this. So let's get into what this mess is going to be. Okay, so let's put a few to the side. I have an entire bag of miscellaneous EVA pieces and even big old full-on sheets because the last project I did for myself, which was my Comic-Con costume, which went very well. Check out my Etsy page, check out my Instagram page to see a bunch of the photos I took while at Comic-Con and to see photos of myself eventually in costume. But most of the photos right now are of other people, and they're really cool cosplay. But I need to upload some photos about myself. Okay, so the rider's gonna be in the center of this. I have to go back to my old days of using EVA matte foam, like literal like children's foam like this, and hot gluing it together. Why would you? I just like would layer upon layer and then carve them down, as opposed to like doing a template. Because essentially we're gonna have a rod that goes in, and that rod is probably gonna be about an inch thick PVC. So let's start with a box, if that makes sense. Let's start with a box, and then we could build up the shape around it. Or even better, you know what? Let's start. This is a 1/2 inch, which is perfect. Let's start. This is what? This seems more like a half. No, this is like a 1/4 inch. This is a 1/2 inch. Let's start with this. Let's get a 1/2 inch of this silhouette. With a slot in it to hold the pole, and then sandwich that with layers to eventually make up the shape. So right now we're just cutting out boxes of boxes. Let's do that. So there's 2 giant suction cuppy fingers and a big old thumb that comes off the side over here. The puppet is on a table just over there. I don't want to actually take a quick look at it for my own reference. Yeah. Okay. So I think for this, by the way, this camera I'm using, got it for $2. It was at a secondhand store. No one noticed. It was like sitting there in a pile because people opened up the boxes and left it behind. So I got it for $2, and I think it's a pretty good camera. It has a slight fisheye lens to it, but yeah, it's not wireless. I guess I have to wire it all the way down. Bit of a mess to get it to work, but yeah. Yeah. Now part of me is like, man, I should just do one giant singular frame, which does make sense. It makes sense as opposed to doing a frame here, then attach a piece and attach a piece and attach a piece. But I say screw it. We're using glue gun. We could cramp. It's gonna be layers, so we can always just slot things together. That's fine. That's fine. We're not trying to be pretty on this. We're just trying to get this cut. That's cut. We're not trying to be pretty or precise. Just need good shape to it. Yeah, let's go with this. Okay. So she has one big like fat kind of thumb. I'll probably make this in a Sculpey. Maybe I have some translucent Sculpey, which actually I can never get it to be like translucent the way I want, while like I add a bit of color to give it like a shine or whatever. But we can, let's go to here. There we go. We can, however, use it on its own, translucent on its own, and it gives me a nice, almost like teeth, like nail part, like a nail. Like it's not fully translucent as I bend down to pick up a cutting board. It's just translucent enough, you know. And all these edges, oh man, it's super thick. All these edges are going to be beveled eventually. This camera's shaking like crazy because it's attached to the table. I should have attached it to something else. Stand by. Can I attach you here? Would you let me? Stand by, people. I'm attempting science. You can probably see my face for like a split second. Nope, that's not gonna work. Whatever. It's attached to the table. We'll figure it out. Because as long as it's attached to the table, it's gonna wiggle every time I move. Every time I do something. Whatevs. Whatevs. We'll figure it out. We'll live. Here's some messy cuts. We're gonna make a big old pile of pieces next to us, to be honest. Readjust that camera. Okay. But yeah, we are being absolutely messy. Look at it. Give me a sec. I'm gonna view the camera. You guys do get a bit of a wiggle. I'm trying to see if I can figure out a way to put this camera in a more stable position. Come on. Oh, I know what to do. I is a kind of genius. I think I know what to do. Stand by, everyone. Stand by. Will that work? Let's see if it works. Nope, don't think it will. I'm attempting to attach it to a very precarious area, hoping that it'll be enough to hold it in place. But I don't think it will. Why must you be like this, life? Life, why are you like this, life? Life is weird. Ah. I know what to do. Aha! When in doubt, use your own art supplies. When in doubt, everyone, use your own art supplies. That's what you gotta do. Stand by. I guess not. Life just wants to be cruel, everyone. Wants to be mean and cruel. And I'm sorry about that. Haha! Hoo-hoo! Hee-hee! Ho-ho! Let's see what happens. I'm waiting a second to see the video catch up with me. But I think we got it. Yeah? There we go. Sorry about that. just had to like find an entirely different piece to attach it to, making my workspace even more of a mess than it is already. Okay. Okay, hopefully that works. I've also come to notice that for reasons unknown, my Streamlabs audio, my desktop audio, is not playing music. Oh well. I guess I just have to ramble some more. Lovely. I know how much you guys love that. Nah, it's not working. Freaking. Let's cut off all the excess material here. Anyway, those of you in the New York area, how you been loving this rain every single Saturday? I know my coworkers who are major sports enthusiasts, they're not liking it. Every Saturday it has rained. But Dante, don't you follow the sports? Don't you follow the basketball and foosball? Nah, not really. Not my thing. Not a big sports guy. Never have been. What a surprise! A guy who's like, what a surprise! A guy who's like a big geek into comic books and cartoons and animation and drawing and working with freaking EVA foam for a costume isn't much of a sports guy. What a big surprise that is! Shock of all shocks. I need to get a new blade. This blade's kind of garbage right now. Luckily, we're not going for fancy, like I said. There's that. So, gonna put a pole right there. Well, first of all, I don't need these. These can go away. That's the thing about store bought. Like I say, store. This is all bought in the store. Matte EVA foam as opposed to just buying like a straight up sheet from like a cosplay center somewhere in Manhattan. Like you get those little puzzle pieces at the end. Okay, so we are going to do a hole. What about there? So the pole will slot right here. That's I guess that's a half inch right there. And even and these PVC poles, the smallest one's like a half inch. So what I want to do, we're going to build this up nice and chunky. So if it's a inch there, half inch there, is a 1/4 inch and a 1/4 inch. Do I have 1/4 inch foam? I do. It's actually a nice one. That's a 1/4 inch foam right there. Luckily, I could waste this material. It's not a lot of material. The 1/4 inch foam I'm talking about, I could definitely just waste it. Sorry, I'm just thinking to myself at the moment. What we're gonna do, we're gonna get this 1/4 inch foam up and running with the actual PVC in it. I have a small little stretch of PVC pipe that I could feed into it right now, and then we can always cut it up and use it later. And it already has holes in it. Nice, nice. Look at that. Perfect. And we have this already. Let's see if I can feed that through. One side works, the other side doesn't. Come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Just like that. I'm going to do some slits. Then we're going to just put this guy right in place. Just bend that. Yeah. Yeah. Yas. We're just going to use some hot glue to kind of hold that in position for the moment. I started buying longer glue sticks because it saves the headache of constantly having to switch this out for more and more material. There we go. Just goopy it in there, goopy it up. Okay. Okay. It's like a whistle. Yeah. And we're just really only doing that to that when I twist around it doesn't go nuts. Because I've had issues where I've done struts, like I put like wooden poles like this into a stick and it just begins to spin because there's no real anchor point. It just kind of sticks into the stick and then begins to twist. So doing this now with this kind of waste material, that would help us a lot. Let's put you right about there. Yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna do a few slits. Stay. What about that? Okay. I don't want to go all the way to the end. Come on. I want these pieces to still be attached even by a little bit. Damn, that's a bad freaking knife. Let me see, bend you a little bit. These rods are actually left over from some puppet rides I did a while back. These metal beams. Do I have to poke you through? I might have to poke you through, but I don't want to slice you through. I want to just go like that. Yeah. And this one, pull you back a little bit, and bend at the angle. There we go. Messy prop work, but you gotta love it. This is gonna rip in half. I just know it. There we go. I'm cutting on a blackboard. I finally told myself, just buy a freaking cutting board, Dante. Why would you not just buy a cutting board and just freaking save the hassle? There we go. So that, oh, you came out. Get back in there. That is our general shape. And then everything else will be glued and anchored onto this in some way or form. I like it. I'm happy with it. It is ugly. It is messy. And we're going to put layers and layers. So the whole idea is going to be layers and layers of EVA foam that will be carved down. Even using like glue gun material just to kind of like get shapes and veins and all of that nasty goodness. Yeah, just like that. I like that. And then we'll paint latex on top. Just molding latex. It's freehand molding latex. As opposed to doing any kind of sculpting work. So we're not gonna sculpt. Oh, you just came right up. We're not going to sculpt the creature. We're just making the prop on top of it. On top of this, we're not sculpting, fine detailing, and then making a mold, which is what I've been doing for this project. Grandma was completely sculpted. She was sculpted. I did a mold of her, and then we did some latex. In fact, the little slideshow you might see on the upper right corner of this video is a similar technique to a bat head, a literal human head with bat wings coming out of it. I sculpted it out of clay. Then I did a plaster mold of it, which had problems in itself. Even the mold had some problems. The actual head of this bat got stuck. The mold, which was a 2-part sandwich mold, melded together into one giant mold. I had to carve into it to get it out. But the bat head did survive. In the slideshow, you'll see eventually, as it loops through it, you'll see like the carved out mold, like at one side of it just completely dug into. But yeah, so when you run into these issues, these problems, and you just have to like figure a way around it. And he did come out very nice. I'm very happy with the bat head. It's a kind of rod puppet. So the wings will be controlled via rods. One guy will hold one wing, one guy will hold the other. Meanwhile, the face will also be puppeted. So think of like a Cookie Monster. It's 2 people. One person controls an arm and Cookie Monster's face, while the other person controls the other arm. And in this case, it will be wings instead of arms. So I can't wait to do like a nice little kind of green screen test of that, see how that looks. Okay. Alright, so I'll hold this in place. Okay, so, yeah. Put him to the side. I'm going to take this small piece of, let me see, what I got weird chunks of leftover, oh, don't rip on me, come on, freaking template. I got some random chunks of this 1/4 inch. We're going to use that to fill up the difference. that rummaging sound you hear is me going through a box of castings, like all the little pieces that just were not used in the end. Let's see. Just need it really for this. What about? No, like that. There we go. Right about there. Mm-hmm. This cuts a lot easier. It's a thinner foam, so I could cut right through it. It's just the issue of this is so thick, it's hard to actually get the curve when I'm cutting. But this, even with a admittedly kind of crappy knife, I can still get all the little pieces I want right out. So, what was I saying before? New York Comic Con. It was fun. It was tiresome. I had a blast. People liked my costume. My only downside is I wasn't able to make it to. So there were two kind of cosplay contests. There's one where it's like the huge semi-finals, yada yada, and then there's one where like anyone could sign up. Right? Those are the two cosplay contests. For reasons I won't go into, I wasn't able to make it to the second one, to the one where you just kind of get on stage and show off. Long story short, I ran into time issues. So I got there. They were like, "Oh, you're late." It was like me and two guys versus Power Rangers. And they're like, "Oh, you're late." I go, "Yeah, I know. I got stuck trying to physically get to the con." And they were a little fatigued about it, but they were like, "No, it's okay. Get online." So I get online. I literally put on my costume in like 15 seconds. I'm like, hurry. And then they're like, "Oh, sorry. Yeah. So we told you could get online, but it turns out that the teleprompter, or whatever the freaking reason was, the teleprompter has already been updated and we can't squeeze you in." I was like, "Okay, whatever." And I mean, I wish I could have gone in, but like, I'm not gonna sit there and argue with the people. Everyone was like, "Oh," everyone that was on the line who saw me get dressed like at the last minute, they were like, "Oh man, we're sorry you couldn't make it in, dude." I was like, "Ah, it's fine." I was kind of tired by that time anyway. I wore my costume for like almost all 3 days. I say all 3 days that I went because, God, I should have bought a 4-day ticket and I didn't. Such a fool. Such a fool of fools. A fool of a fool. But even then, man, 3 days of wearing that costume, 3 days of walking around, it was a lot. It was a lot because my costume wasn't hugely cumbersome, but cumbersome enough. I was the Statue of Tyranny from the new Ninja Turtle video game, and people got a kick out of it, man. They really, really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed that they enjoyed it. Like that was fun. That was a nice thing to do. Right about there. And right now I'm just kind of building up around this. That way I could better glue it in. Once again, we're gonna trim back a lot of material, so yeah, we are not going to be doing the dremeling, like I mentioned earlier. Today is just way too much to try and dremel it. And this is a big messy rush job, just adding up the layers, which is why I'm also not using the contact cement, which is what you should be using for this kind of stuff. Let me see what I can find. That's good enough. Yeah, that looks good. Come on, rip off. Cut for me. There we go. Then we'll put a strip across. Nice. glue gun. Yeah, got a little jammed. The convention was nice though. I have from many years ago a poster signed by Peter Laird, the one half of the creative Ninja Turtles, as well as one of the original colorist. Eastman was here this year. I didn't know. I didn't know till the last minute. I was like, oh crap, it's Eastman. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get an autograph for a friend of mine. I couldn't even remember who I had last time. Whether or not I had Eastman or not, I couldn't remember. So if I was a uber nerd, I would have gotten Eastman's thing twice, one for myself, one for my buddy. I'm like, can't screw it now. Pay it forward, give it to my best friend. So I go up to Eastman's booth, and I realized I asked him, hey, do you have anything left to sign? Like, do you have anything on your table that can be used that I could purchase right now to have you sign? And they're like, oh yeah, we got this, and it's like, it was like another $30 for like the Ronin book, because I don't know if it was the artist for the whole book or the artist for the cover, but he was there next to Eastman. They were like sharing a table together more or less. And I was like, I don't have another $30 to spend, so I said screw it, and I took my cosplay of the Statue of Tyranny, and the arm, which looks just like Krang's arm. That's the whole idea. It's meant to be Krang's like giant body. I said, do you mind signing my cosplay? And I had him sign my cosplay, and I am going to give that to my buddy. It is from an artist to an artist. It is signed by Eastman and the artist who did Ronin. And I told him treat it like a baseball. Like, next time Peter Laird's in town, get him to sign one of your Ninja Turtle books and this arm. Just like have him sign a cosplay arm, and it's a conversation piece. Aside from actually having a copy of Ninja Turtles, because my friend's insane like that, of the original comic, but having like a giant like arm on a table, which is also pretty cool. At least I think it is. Okay. Where? Nope. Where are you going? Right there. So we have, doing this, I have successfully sandwiched the pole inside the frame. Rather, how I put this, I sandwiched the pole inside the EVA, and then from here on out. So when I do the fingers, which should have also had framework, I just didn't, was too lazy to do it. But when I do the fingers, I'll also glue them to here, and then also layer it up, framing them around. And but I could also, it's this EVA foam. I could jam a stick in there later on if I had to, if I really wanted to like hold that in place. Let me see, what else has been happening? Comic-Con was huge. Not many panel stuff that I really wanted to do this year. I don't know, the panels I felt were kind of lackluster. It just didn't do it for me this year. But there was a Owl House panel that literally on the website said not sponsored by Disney. Like, they straight up were like, this is not, Disney didn't do this. We did this on our own. It was the voice actresses and actors. I don't know what term to use for non-binary, because Avi was there, the voice of Rain. So Avi was there, the voice actress for Luce and the voice actress for Lilith. I got their autographs on one giant, not huge, but like one piece of paper. I'm going to show off a bit. Hold on. Here it is. Yeah, Bad Girl Coven. Awesome. I managed to get their autograph, which was really cool. It's kind of covered behind it, but I got a really nice piece of artwork and signed by a particular artist who does tons of Transformers and amazing Beast Wars artwork in like watercolor. I don't know if you guys can see it. I have this toy. If you got this toy, this Tripreda King, I still have it. It's basically a beetle There we go. It's like a beetle, a lobster, and a cicada all in one. I love this guy's art style. I found him through Instagram. He basically does like Transformers artwork that is toy inspired. So it's not like an exact model. It's not one to one. That's good. This is gonna be heavy. It's not one to one with like the actual like toys and everything. It's just its own kind of beast. I get it, beast. But yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. He does amazing work. Hey, look at that. You know what? No, I'm gonna keep this clean. I'm gonna keep the ends clean. That way, I should have done it for here too. That way I could sandwich the pole and attach more to it. But that's that. So I'm debating right now if I should start working up layers to of the shape of what this is supposed to look like, or should I start doing the fingers and everything? You know what, Dante? You should really do the fingers. I should really do the fingers. Yeah. So all those bits and bobs. Toss it to the side. So we use a big like half. This is like a quarter inch. This is like a half inch, if not more. I have another, and I have this mat, which is a little thicker. See, this feels more like a half inch. This is like, I think, yeah, I want to say this is like slightly bigger than a half inch. But since the fingers are thin, I might use this instead, and then build up that. Like, you know, it's like the palm of your hand with the meat, and then the fingers. So let's do that. Get up, get him up. No. Yeah. Let me do a little that way. There, that way I know where to cut. Or rather, where to draw. Yeah, I should have done the whole thing as one piece, but who cares? Okay, so first things first, this is going to be bigger up here, because that's part of the stencil I had to cut short due to printing issues. Now here, the ends are like meant to be like round suction cups in a way. So I'm thinking, which is always a dangerous thing to do. I'm thinking, I got some Easter eggs. I could use that for the suction cups. Just kind of attach them in there. Let me see if I still got those. Hold on. Mixed media time, baby. Let's see what we got. It's a little small. That's small. I have like 3 scales of Easter eggs. It's like the average, like, well, more or less the size of an actual egg. And I have like little tiny ones, and I got big ones. Small ones, some as big as your head. Yeah, these are all from like a secondhand store. Yeah, that looks good. What would be easier? I mean, they both work. So either what would be easier, that or this, because there's a flat bottom. I can glue it on easier. Has a stupid lip on it though, which bothers me. That lip bothers me. I could probably cut it off, but still. Nah. Let's stick with the let's go with the top half. So essentially, we are going to do that. Yeah. Because this chunk right here, it's a big fat matty, a big fat meaty chunk right here, which will go around this anyway. Yeah, that works. Let's get one first, and then we'll do the other. Let's see what else happened at Comic Con. Got some nice autographs. Oh, I'm not gonna get up and get it now because we're on a roll here. Keep cutting. There was different booths selling the new Beast Wars, Gargoyle figurines from Super 7. Right? Cut this off real quick. So Super 7 has made some awesome Gargoyle figurines. And Super 7 was there, but they were there just kind of showing off. They weren't there selling, which is really annoying. Like, dude, you have it on the shelves. You're showing it. Just freaking stock up. I mean, granted, we sold out in a day, but isn't that the point? So everyone's looking for different figurines. And they have all the main cast. We're talking the main Gargoyles. They have the trio of Lexington, Brooklyn, Broadway. There's Bronx, of course. Good luck trying to find him. Hudson, Goliath. Daylog, who's just a clone of Goliath. So all they really had to do was give him a different color scheme and give him a different color scheme, an evil face, and then also what else? Oh yeah, just a few weapons to go with it. They have Elisa Maza. They have Xanatos. Demona, Angela, their daughter, if you haven't watched the series. Spoiler alert for like a almost 20-year-old series. But I was there and I saw one figurine and I was like, I wasn't gonna spend more than $50 because on the average these figurines are pretty good in price. They're like $40. So 40 to 50 is what I'll spend, mainly because that's how much they usually would charge for like shipping, right? So I have Goliath on my shelf over there. He's holding a book. He comes with a book. It is not the Remorum from the series because Goliath was like, he has to read, so he has a book. I got David Xanatos in his freaking Iron Man's looking suit. Basically, if you haven't watched the series, the main villain who's a human, I say main villain, one of the main villains who's a human, creates a series of robots called the Steel Clan. Essentially your stormtroopers, if you would, right? Just easily disposable, more or less, giant robot people. The Steel Clan are robots that are meant to look like our main hero, the Goliath, the hero. Which, you know, just kind of like insult to injury. Not only by the villain, I'm using your face as a face of my giant robot army. And then is that enough? That's a bit much. Gotta bring it in a bit more. And then Xanatos is like, well, I'm gonna take it one step even further. Not only do I have, did I take too much of this? I think I took too much of you. Nah, you're right about that. Not only did I, hold on, gotta curve it this way, taking some off actually. He's like, not only did I make a robot army that looks like you, I am now wearing a battle suit. So imagine if, like, I don't know, Lex Luthor shows up not just in a suit, that green suit he wears to like fight Superman, but like literally looks like Superman. Like he's dressed like the character Steel or something like that, you know? And yeah, like I got that. It's on the shelf over there. I'm not gonna show it right now. because that's gonna probably be used in a video later on. But yeah, I'll probably do a video about my time at Comic Con and just the fun I had, and I'll showcase everything I'm talking about. So yeah, teaser. If you, I'm teasing you all, anyone who's watching this. Um, but yeah, so I got that figurine, and I have a much more elaborate story, which I'll once again save for a video I'm doing, of just like on the way home, both days, literally getting off the train at in my neighborhood. Two different people. It was a guy and a girl on 2 different days. Were coming from the con, and I simply would say, I would see them with a bag from the con, like, oh, you went to the Comic Con, just kind of like to spark a story with, I mean, that's a story, to spark a conversation without being like weird about it, just like, oh, I went to the Comic Con, that's pretty cool, and then usually they'll be like, oh yeah, I was looking for this figurine, and would you believe it? Both these individuals were like hyper Gargoyle fans. Like I guess it's a New York thing or a Bronx thing. It's just like, yeah, like they both went to the convention and they're both coming home, separately. They're not together. And on both cases, they're like, oh yeah, I totally got super excited when I found this figurine. And in their hand, they're holding a Gargoyle figurine. And I'm like, whoa, that is just, I don't know, there's geeks among geeks. I'm gonna, if you're not from the New York area, it might not connect as much with you, Gargoyle series. But Gargoyles was like, it starts off heavy with like a love of New York, and then it spreads to multiple cultures. But it's just really interesting to see such a huge, like, legit New York fandom for that series. And it was just like really interesting. They just bumped into each other like that. Yeah, did I trace that wrong? What the hell's going on? Bump, then up. It's like the opposite. The hell? How did I do the opposite? Yeah, let me try that. Granted, I'm making the finger slightly shorter because of this, but it's very weird how I traced it and it still didn't come out close to what it's supposed to be. Kind of like that. Okay. Kind of like that. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. That looks nice. Nice and hefty. And like I said, I'll start gluing some framework around it to like really hold it in place. Or, I could also do this. Stand by. So I got more of this the metal frame, the metal beam I used in the PVC. But I also have just this, which is actually a freaking from an umbrella. Just enough of a metal frame to kind of hold it in place. So I'll just use that instead. Much easier to work with. Come on, let go. There we go. The issue with this though is that you can't really bend it. Like it's just, because if you bend it, that's when it loses its strength. I just want to get a thing like that. So about that much should be fine. Gotta watch your finger. So I'm just going to do a cut that will allow me to slide it in. There we go. Let's glue one piece first and then glue the other piece. I mentioned in my video of how I made, like how I started making the crane arm for the cosplay. Check it out if you're looking for like a much more professional look of how to like approach using EVA foam. Check out my video on my crane cosplay where I go over EVA foam, styrofoam, expandable foam, and the difference between all of them in terms of cutting and gluing and repairing. I mentioned like if you're gonna use hot glue gun, you're gonna burn through a lot of material, but it's quick. Like that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just making a quick understructure. It's not trying to be smooth. Like it's okay. I don't mind. Like this time I don't mind. But normally, yeah, you would want to use a better adhesive that you get more mileage out of that won't like waste material and time. Okay, so we're gonna try and center this gray one with this purple one because once again they're not the exact same thickness. And glue on top and glue on top. Kind of like that. It's probably right in the camera, forgive me on that, but that is what we're aiming for. And once again, once we add more layers on either side of it, like this, judo chop on either side, it will hold it far better. Okay. Give that a second. What I'm looking for now are some good, just straight ahead strips. Here we go. I have a prop I made long time ago, and it was literally just I took one of these and I just added a square around it of EVA foam and stuffed that EVA foam, like condensed it with like lots of these smaller pieces like this. I just jammed it in there. It's like a heavy piece, and then I completely whittled and carved away at it to make a prop. It's on a shelf I have. That's meant to look like a giant, like someone took a wooden fence post and jammed nails into it and then carved it, and that's what it's meant to look like. Just this giant like it's not colored the best. They're looking back at it. It's more cartoony in its color, but like a yellowish wood fence post. But it was just a solid block. It wasn't like hollow. Like you could actually whack someone and probably hurt them with it. So there's that. Okay, let's now do this. Check this out. Check this out. Where's my marker? Where's my marker? I need my marker. I can't have you guys check something out. There we go. Okay, what's in the back end here? Let's put you right about there. Okay. So thinner foam, easy to cut. Right there. That's gonna be what fills in all the gaps we need. Now remember the one bad thing also about using just tons of hot glue, if you go to use a Dremel to like shape it, it's just gonna end up like if you hit a patch of hot glue, it's just gonna end up melting into the Dremel bit, which is not ideal, but you know it happens. Let me see what works. Ooh, that looks like it worked. Yeah, something right about there. Cut that. Let me flip you over for a second. Make a note. You go right there. And then remove that. Yep, we're just layering it up, people. Yeah, there we go. That's why I'm just doing dots. Just for the anchor points. I'm not trying to like, lather the whole thing up in hot glue and then not be able to freaking Dremel it off later. Yep, you see I'm hitting a piece of glue right there. That's the issue. Careful. There you go. Don't cut yourself. Now this still wiggles, but we're going to be putting layers upon layers of material. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Once again, it would be better to put some kind of strut in there, but yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Let's gonna put a strut right here. Give it a bit more. Need to flatten this. Come on, flatten for me. There you go. You can't see it on camera, but this thing's actually like, it's not a pole, it's like a slightly folded piece of metal. Come on, there we go. There's gonna be a knuckle right here, so I'm gonna actually add a good amount of material on top. So it shouldn't bend too much from that point, but I just want to keep this in here. That way it doesn't wiggle like at the midpoint. There we go. Let that do its thing. All right, we're doing good so far. All right, next piece will be the bottom half, the arm right here, which actually has a little spot. I could poke a hole in it too. This is thinner, so I might actually try and figure out. I might make a strut for this one, because this one's thinner. Okay, we got tiny bits, which go to the side. It's gonna be such a mess next to me when I'm done. Just come here. There you go. For safety. For safety. Put him to the side. Where's the gray EVA foam I was just using? There it is. Okay. So we have a straightaway right here. Okay. I'm going to replace this whole spot right here with an egg, so I don't have to worry about Tracing that out. It's a pointed elbow. That's that. Where is the other egg? I got plenty of eggs. So that's wondering where the other yellow one is. Oh, there it is. A doy doy. So what else? What else has been happening? Oh yeah, this. By the way, this random independent cartoon just premiered about a clown girl stuck in a children's game simulation. I'm talking about the Digital Circus, which is freaking nuts. It looks cool and it's kind of frightening, which is the point of it, I guess. A lot of people are talking about it. Mostly good stuff. Even people who have even people in which it doesn't really do much for them. It's a guy. It's not Negative Legend. Negative Legend is someone else. Sarcastic Choir or Chorus? No, Sarcastic Chorus. Who is a really good channel. Check out his YouTube page, Sarcastic Chorus. He has a few negative things to say about it, but even he admits it's more of just personal preference of what kind of shows he watches. But even then, he's like, yeah, it's still a good show though. You can still enjoy it. But overall, a lot of people are like, oh my god, this is kind of crazy. I want to watch more of it. And essentially, if you're a fan of what was it, Dot Hat Psy, people trapped in a digital world kind of thing, it's kind of like that, but far more existential crisis. Far more existential crisis. It's not just I can't unplug from this fantasy isekai. It's more like, oh my god, I'm stuck in an early 2000 Barbie game where everything has to be pink, and there's tons of stupid mini games to keep me busy, but all they really do is prolong the inevitable insanity that will consume me and everyone around me. And yeah, that's what the show is pretty much about. At least as of right now. It is a very, very interesting. It's a concept that's been done before. Someone trapped in what appears to be a VR headset, a VR game. Well, not even a VR game. The game itself definitely reads, like I said, like those old, early, what's that stupid penguin game everyone used to play? This very simple graphics kind of game. So you're kind of stuck in a child-friendly game, and there's no real adventures to go on. It's just mini game stuff. So you're not even fighting monsters or whatever. And yeah, I can't wait to see more of it because it is trippy looking, and it looks fun and terrifying. And they don't hide the fact that that's what it's about. It's meant to be a terrifying experience for the main character. Digital Circus. And yeah, I'm gonna say it. The moment I saw it, I was like, yep, let's see how long it takes someone to draw a dirty artwork of this character. And not that the character is even sexy, it's just it's a clown girl and she's having a mental breakdown. I wonder how long it'll take for someone to draw some dirty artwork of her. And boy, did it not take long. It did not take long at all. Okay. Okay, so we're looking at right about there. So that's that pole. Boop. That looks right. Now the issue is, in the story, she's gonna be holding something. So I actually need her hand to be closed like that, which means I need to do a little bit. I need to actually do a filler. So let's do a bit of a let me see. Should I glue this in first? Or should I just, there you go. Maybe if I have this, wait, let me see. Sorry, I'm just mumbling. This is here. This is too far out. That's way too far out. So it needs to be something like that. Right about there. So let me glue this first. Yeah, then I can always just do an extension of the arm. Just trying to figure out the angle of this. so I'm gonna glue this on and we'll see what happens. It's like a little, like a wall candle holder. Let's put a candle in there. Creepy bone candle holder. So once again, the idea is like it's like these two big frog fingers with like little suction cups at the ends. But it also has this nasty like humanoid thumb that pops off like right here. Okay, so if that's like right there, more or less. Let me just yeah. That's the elbow anyway. Not the elbow. That's the knuckle. Knuckle? No. Knuckles. Joints? I forget what you actually call these parts. The phalanges. But the phalanges are the individual pieces of the hand. Okay, so we're gonna stick a triangle in that. Which I thought I had. And there's so many small pieces here. Where's my triangles? Ah! Triangular piece. So let's just stick a triangular piece in here to extend that. Too much. Just needs to be a little bit. So you go there. You're just like that, right? Who wants to take a bet of how long it takes for me to cut my finger on this? Wow, I just cannot get that angle right. There we go. That sounds good. Right there. Stay. Just right there. Not even by a lot. Just like a pinch. That's all I needed. Okay. And then a triangular piece right there. And most definitely some kind of wireframe in this. This is getting wobbly now. Yeah, let's go for that. So once again, I'm just kind of flattening this piece because it's folded like a V, which is meant, it's aluminum, cheap aluminum, folded like a V to give it some kind of support. So I'm just flattening it a bit more, that way I can slide it in easier. There we go. Not perfect, but better. Small improvement is all we can ask for nowadays. Unless you're in the union, you fight for that stuff, man. Don't let them tell you otherwise. That did not actually hold at all. Get in here. stay. There we go. Luckily, this is like a low temperature glue gun, so I can just lick my finger and spread it. Do not try that with a actually good working glue gun. You will freaking burn yourself. Do not try that otherwise. Yeah, we'll definitely lather that up in some good glue. Once I get, doesn't have to be perfectly flat. I just need it to be close to it. That way on camera when we film this, what did fall? Of course my pen is what fell. My non-Sharpie. It's Staples permanent marker. I forget what I was watching years ago. It was not watching. It was reading some comic, and the guy's in Staples looking for Staples, and the running gag is just that: is that everything is labeled. Everything has a Staples label on it. So he's going around Staples trying to find Staples and losing his mind. Was it VG Cats? Man, I've been VG Cats. How old is that series? Jeez. Don't know if they even are VG Cats still around. They still doing their thing. Like there's some online comics I read now that I came across not realizing that they were already like freaking 10 years old. Like Slice of Life comics. There's some Slice of Life comics I come across and I'm like, whoa, you guys have been around for like years. How are you still freaking producing stuff? But they do, and they still produce. Okay, we're gonna glue this first, and then do the next part. And then we'll do a slice on the edge and add a frame to it. Okay, let that take. We'll do some trimming. We'll do some angle trimming on that. Thusly. There we go. And that. Yep, that is good enough for me. We got ourselves a monster on the basic frame of a monster on, and then from there, I will pull the actual grandma puppet I have from the shelf, have it next to me, and we'll do some like obvious like layering that's more on the shape, like layer by the knuckles, like stuff that we could identify as needing to be chunky, and then we can always sand down the rest. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm only doing the top half here, just to glue it in place more or less. Please excuse me while I take it off camera to hold it in place properly. There we go. Nice. I'm doing only the top layer, that way I could cut into it easier and put this guy in on the lower half of that same piece. Once again, blowing into it, just to hold it in, just to kind of get it to work for me. Come on. Dry, you glue. Dry-ish. put these random pieces here. Right there, just to brace that. Put you over here to brace that. That way it's more or less flat-ish. Okay. All right. Now we do have this slice here, but like I said, this is a knuckle, so we're gonna build that up with like this material. They're not perfectly touching, but they're touching enough where I could like slide a piece of paper in there. Like if the prop requires something to be held in there, so we're gonna figure that out too. All right. Let's do a little slice right here, ready to begin with. Okay. And you get some more glue. Hey. Anyway. Got a piece almost identical, obviously from the cosplay I did. So it also kind of there we go. That works too. We could really fill in those gaps, and that is our physical support for that. And I just touched it now. Like I say, you still gotta be careful with glue gun. Let's take some random strips and let's add some supports onto these. What am I thinking? Once again, like I should like do slight stencil of these and see how that works. Yeah, let me do a slight stencil of this, even if it's skinny, just to have general frame that's close to what we're aiming for. So that off. Cut that off. There we go. Yeah. I need to remind myself of my own rule. Try and stick close to your stencil, your pattern, because the more you step away from that, the more you're going to regret it later on down the line. Oh, obviously, there's a giant egg here, so. Then you can always sand down the excess material. Alright, lots of pieces we don't need. Lots of junk here. Get it. All of you. All of you. Parasites. Just about enough to get a similar stencil for the back side of this. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just has to lightly fill in the gaps. Alright. That's still in the way. Needs to be like that. Ah, should have that piece there. Shoot, should have that piece right here. Don't know if you guys can see it. I cut this piece off, should have left it right there. We'll figure it out. Gluing in the center, that way if I Dremel off the edges, like I said, the hot glue won't just heat up and get stuck on the Dremel. I'm just doing this, like that. Nicely done. Just put get it. Just put a lot of glue material right in there, just like a caulking gun. Just fill it all up. There we go. Opposite side, rinse and repeat. There's the elbow. Get rid of this. Drop all my tools. Ugh, okay. What an absolute mess. But it's working. I mean, one thing we can put in tons of material in here to fill it up. Right now I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants right here. fit. Almost. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. One there. What we got here? We have a knuckle. There's so many ways I could have approached this project in a much cleaner fashion. Well, maybe I could have used like expandable foam and then carved it down. But this is good right here. I don't want to get to the habit of adding, like how I did here, just for these individual pieces. I don't want to get to the habit of doing that too much. Because once again, it all has to be sanded down at some point. It has to be like dremeled down and cleaned up a bit. So I'm just trying to be very careful not to put myself into a corner where I'm just, once again, using so much glue gun material. Just putting a little dot here and there. I don't want to put so much glue gun material where sanding it down is going to be a pain in the butt. A pain in the tuchus. Right there. There we go. Just like a little dot on the edge to hold, to burn it to my finger. Ow. A dot on the edge, on the inner edge. That way the outer edge can still be sanded down. That's the idea that's going through my mind right now. Also allows me to finally use up all these small pieces. That's really what this project right here is for. I mean, it's not. This is a project for a bigger thing. But approaching it this way is allowing me to just get rid of lots of material that I don't need. Alright, so you can see when I wiggle it, see how this one isn't really moving as much? There's that pole and it has tons of like just little bits lightly glued together, holding it together in the, just layers, like a sandwich. Just layers and layers. It's like an onion or an ogre or a parfait. Depends on how you want to approach it. Looks almost like teeth, doesn't it? Which is even creepier, I guess. So this I'll probably end up cutting this off anyway, this piece, and then actually sculpting a nail, like a big old thumbnail. Okay. You might as well do some pieces with this. Yeah, I might as well do 2 strips, similar to how we did here, just to help reinforce it. Let me get rid of stuff that I don't need off the table. A lot of this is small gibberish. Small castings, whatever you want to call them. I know I have more of this thin material. Let me check. Got this. Here we go. Ta-da. I would rather get close to this shape while we can. Let me see. Kind of like that. All right. a problem I'm having right now is that um, in order to film this, I'm not at my usual work table. I'm at this freaking rickety, shaky fold-out table. To be honest, my work table's too cluttered right now to handle putting down big sheets of EVA foam on it anyway. So, I know it's nature of the beast when you have too many projects going on. Okay, so you need to be trimmed down even more. Right? Is that right? Yeah, just about there. Trim you down even more and do that. Ah, that's a nice one right there. In fact, I'm gonna copy this onto this. That's the back end. Back end is different. The back end essentially needs a piece like that. Okay. Right about there. Working with a stencil, it's like cloning. You should try and use the original stencil whenever you can. Um, if you're trying to do a pattern off of a pattern off of a pattern, if you've ever seen the movie, I think it's Multiplicity, I think it's called, where he makes clones of himself, but then he gets so lazy he decides to make clones of the clones, or the clones do it themselves. Whatever it is, clones begin cloning off of clones as opposed to the original, and they become stupider and weirder as it goes along. I never actually seen the whole movie. I've only seen bits of it, like on the movie channel or whatever. But that's kind of what happens. It's kind of like, dude, like just freaking, don't be lazy. Just do your job. Stop making crappy clones off of clones, which I think was also somewhat the plot of Star Wars, where at one point, well, Boba Fett's dead, and all we have is this single strand of DNA, and we've already used it like 5 billion times. We're making clones of clones, and they're not coming out as right. But you know what? In that case, it worked out. Because, damn, you got some good clones out of that. You got the best clones are the ones that were not, quote unquote, not good. I think they tried to do a pilot for what's called the Bad Batch. I think they tried to do a pilot. I remember the episode of it with clone number 99, who was like a hunchback. This is when it was on Cartoon Network, where they were allowed to like be a bit more violent. I'm gonna assume the Disney version just quickly leaned away from that. I'm just gonna assume that's what Disney did, because that's what Disney does. But like the Cartoon Network one was like, no, people are gonna die. People will be like stabbed or sliced in half, like legit on this show with lightsabers and stuff. And they had an episode where one clone 99, I think that was his name. He was like a hunchback. So he couldn't join the forces, but he was like still like mentally fine, and he wanted to be like a soldier. And then things went south. Bad things happened, and like he freaking dies. Like I forget if he dies. Like he dies saving them somehow. Either he's carrying ammo, he's doing something for them. And he ends up dying in the process, and they give him like an honorary like funeral. The clones do it. Like, the Jedi don't give a damn, but the clones could. The clones, they were like, nah. The 99 was like the best of us. It was a hard ass. It was a hard ass hunchback. Did I cut this the wrong way? I somehow did not fill up this gap here. Ugh. Best laid plans. The best laid plans. Alright. Let's get rid of some of this excess, because now that arm's coming out a bit big, a bit bigger than it should be. So let's get rid of some of this excess material. Be gone. That's that. Opposite side, rinse and repeat. Get rid of any. Ooh, there's a lot of excess material. Once again, stencil off of a copy as opposed to the original stencil. It doesn't go right. There we go. That all looks a lot better now. Give me a good piece. Give me a good piece I could use. Something. Here's a good one. Has a curve in it already. Okay, so. Ah, look at that. Oh, slick. That is nice. There we go. Look at that. So I did a lot of material here. Didn't put much here yet. I might keep it that way. Like one side is the inside. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Then I can always put another layer on top to like really seal the pole in. But with all of these small pieces connecting with a little bit of framework inside, not a whole framework, it still is super lightweight. It has a wiggle to it, but we still have a way to go to add more material. But even adding that small little bit of like aluminum pole through part of this, like even adding the small pieces here and there, is enough to like stop it from flip flopping all over the place. Should have done, once again, should have done just one big sheet. Should have taken one big sheet and put it down and done that. Yes. But I have so many of these small scraps, I just want to like burn through them, to be honest. Is it the best approach? No. But it is what I wanted right just claw on a stick. Big meaty claws. Now, give me one moment. I'm double checking my physical reference that I have over here. Okay, so my original stencil. Here. Don't know if you can see the line, but like here and this spot here. This is definitely raised up. This is also raised up a little bit. So we can cut some chunky pieces out. Should I cut it out of this freaking like 75% thick piece? I kind of want to. For here I do. Yeah, let's just do that. I don't like this slice I have here, but we'll figure it out. That's what I like to do sometimes. If I can't see through the phone. Ta-da! I'm gonna put a really thin layer. Just blip, blip, blip. Just little dots to hold that shape. And that is that right? Yep, just about. She'll go right there. We're basically cutting off what is this chunk right here. This is like the thumb. I don't know what the muscle's called here. It's a thumb fat. She thumb fat. No, but yeah, it's the whole muscle right here for the palm. There we go. Super rough. Who cares? Let me see. Just got taken in a bit. that's the issue. I gave it this little piece here. It doesn't really need that. It's more. Come on, stay on target. Stay on target. It kind of works here. Need to add more here, but that's okay. This is what, third, fourth glue stick? I don't know how many glue sticks were in. There we go. Can I fudge it? Can we fudge it? I think we can. I'm just gonna cut this one out because I'm so tired of this razor blade not doing what I needed to do. I'm actually going to bevel this a little bit while I have it in hand. Why not? Just trim back the corners a bit. Kind of round them out just a pinch. So this is like the knuckle that goes right over. Well, technically, there's the knuckle, but this is like the little fatty piece that goes over the nail. Might be too thick for it. I'm thinking of maybe making it thinner. Nah. Looking at the original piece I made, it sticks out. It sticks out just enough. I could probably just like shrink it down a pinch. That looks good. Kind of looks like I'm making like a bony like dinosaur foot or something with the padding. You got beans. It's funny enough. There's like a little under, like right here, like on this piece. So I could like, what's like overhang? There's an overhang, so I could like slide a piece in there to like really slide it in when I'm gluing it. I'm thinking we'll do one more big piece and then call it a night. And that big piece is gonna be here in the back. So if you know you have this here, you have a knuckle piece here, you have like kind of like little fatty palm pieces here. On the back side though, I did do one big like rounded piece that just took up all of this, almost like a fat, like a chubby hand. So I say we do that now. Get that piece out the way. Hmm. Would this do it? I think this will do it. Yeah. Yeah, just like it was like something like this. It was just a big round meaty piece. Let me see if that's big enough. Hold on. It's actually perfect. Yeah, even on the original piece I have, it's here's a thumb. It actually is set back away from all of this. This is all flat. It was the back side of the piece when I sculpted it, so it wasn't a big issue. It wasn't gonna be in camera as much. I just wanted to give it. I just gave it a bit more of a chunk. Cutting it at an angle, giving it a bevel to begin with. There go the puzzle pieces. Yeah, nice. Um, curve that as well. Trying to cut at a bevel. Cut at an angle to give it a bevel. There we go. To save myself a little bit more time when I go to actually take my Dremel and go to town on this. That. So we're gonna put tons and tons of glue right where the PVC pipe is. If it lets me. Come on. Stuck. It's like a little bit of glue that gets caught on the edge. There we go. There we go. Just a big glob. That way it'll sink right in there. Yep, perfect. Right in there. Nice. A little more won't hurt, right? There we go. Okay, let's let me do a little cleanup real quick. I got, let's see, chunks that I might keep and chunks that are for the trash. For safety. Trash. Trash. Alright. Where did I toss my stencil? Where are you, stencil? It's a giant piece of paper. Where'd you go? Ah. So this was our stencil. We did some adjustments with the bottom finger. We bent it upward a bit more, so we had to cut some angles. We're using, so this is a silhouette stencil. Once again, I'll take my, the actual puppet, have it next to me next time. On video or not, I don't know, but I have to have it next to me. Have to have it next to me. There we go. Next time when I start building up the layers and thicknesses and little details. I might even stick some like googly eyes on this, which are going to be painted over anyway for like warts and pimples, like rounded googly eyes, which is a really good technique if you're looking for like small marbles or half circles to like build up a sculpture. So we have the thickest part, which is here, which is this purple, which is then overlaid with the thinnest I have. So technically, it's the thickest is the purple, the next thickest is the gray, and then the next one is the light gray. So it actually thins. I don't know how close I am to the camera. So it thins as it gets closer to the fingers. Like right here and right here, it actually kind of like tapers in just a pinch. And then you add layers of this. This is going to be all Dremel on the edges, and we're just going to just Dremel. Once again, ideally, you know, I could have done this whole thing in several sheets, like full-on sheets, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then fully Dremeled. But I want to burn through all these small pieces I have. You have, you and I, have this pole, which is cutting through the center. It has 2 basic metal beams here and here. That way the pole won't swing. And then we added some random struts inside to reduce the wobble. There's still a bit of a wobble. But I'm okay with that for now. We have the fingertips, which are a little off-center, but nothing horrible, nothing that can't, like, you know, a little bit of bending here and there won't fix. But it's enough where they could, you know, we could have a prop hold something like in between. Which reminds me, I am going to have to cut circles out and put them into here, just to fill up the gap. But yeah, I know this stream isn't super exciting. It's just a weird thing of some guy cleaning up foam, but I just wanted to, you know, get some content out there, show what I've been working on. If you want to see what grandma looks like, if you want to see what this hand is from, once again, check out my Instagram. The stuff, everything's on the bottom. It's all beneath the Burgos art. I have a sneeze that is stuck in my nose. Hold on. Woo! Sorry about that. So down below, you have your Twitter, you have YouTube, you have your Instagram, and you have your DeviantArt, all of which are beneath the Burgos art. Check out the Instagram if you want to see a few of the old step-by-steps of the sculpting process and the making of grandma. Very similar to the video you see up in the corner, where it was just, once again, sculpting, a plaster case around that, latex mold taken from that plaster, or rather latex casting taken from that plaster mold, and building up stuff. You can also check out how I made a wig. I made a tiny wig for grandma out of like cheap, cheap Halloween store werewolf hair. Okay, it had to be a small wig. It had to be like a tiny wig. So I had to basically make the wig from scratch for grandma. And I literally just, I just slowly glued it layer by layer. I might do a video about a more in-depth video on that. But it made a nice little small wig. And that's that. Check out my links again for stuff on this year's New York Comic Con. Just really a nice small fraction of the amazing cosplay that was out there. I will be doing a video shortly that will include the cosplay, some audio, and a very fun video. And not the best quality video because it was a last minute, but I have a very fun video clip of the different voice actresses from the Owl House doing the other actresses' voices. So it's like the voice actress for Lilith doing Rain and doing Luce, and like and the opposite, vice versa. So I'm gonna see if I can assemble a haphazard video of my time at Comic-Con. So take a look for that. And I think that's it for today, guys. Short stream. What time is it now? It's like what? It's gonna be 11 o'clock. We started at actually about a 2-hour stream. We started at almost 9. It is almost 11. So your standard 2-hour stream, but just not so standard material. But yeah, fun prop work. Just going to stab someone with a giant monster arm. I don't know. That might happen. I don't know what the actual final scene is going to be in this short film. But yeah, that's it. Once again, guys, I am Dante. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the future. Later.